Speaking of vulnerabilities, what are the risks when it comes to protecting information that passes through and rests inside an MFP? Well, there are network risks. Obviously, we just talked about the internet. Sometimes organizations place their MFP and printers outside of the firewall. As you can imagine, this is a big risk. We strongly recommend, just like your server or PCs, that the MFP is protected inside the perimeter of your firewall. Also, when we start looking inside the MFP, there are print, scan, copy, and fax jobs that are normally processed in the MFP's volatile random access memory, or RAM. When the MFP is turned off, any remnants of a job processed in RAM is gone forever and cannot be brought back. The third and most important thing people are concerned about are the hard drive risks inside the MFP. A lot of people ask, what kind of jobs are stored on the MFP's hard drive? Well, jobs that are scanned or printed to an electronic box function. Think of these boxes as electronic folders on a hard drive. So people today scan to a box. There are public boxes and there are private boxes. They also print to a box. A box is going to store that print job. There are public boxes for printing, private boxes for printing, and secure print boxes. Also, a lot of our customers today route incoming fax jobs to a box inside the machine so that an administrator can pick up that fax job in an electronic format sometime later rather than having the fax sit on the output tray on the MFP. These functions typically have to be enabled by MFP administrators, and it's important to note that the device can be programmed to overwrite any documents residing in any box after a certain period of time. Users and IT administrators should be trained on these features. How at Konica Minolta do we protect documents stored in the MFP's hard drive? The hard drive can be protected against unauthorized access to its data by the following methods. We can set the machine for automatic job overwrite of any temporary image data that may come in contact from the RAM to the hard drive. We can also encrypt the entire hard drive, which is also known as HDD encryption. We can also lock down the hard drive and marry the hard drive to the host MFP by enabling an electronic password. And then there's the automatic deletion of jobs stored inside the electronic user box that we just mentioned. There's also a complete overwrite of the hard drive, known in the industry as sanitization of the HDD. Usually, the MFP administrator of the device has the capability and flexibility to turn each function on or off. The default setting may come from the factory as either on or off, depending upon the model and the MFP manufacturer. What do we mean when we talk about temporary data overwrite? Well, just like on a computer, you have ordinary job deletion. So let's look at the example of your PC. You have files on drive C. Well, you may take those files and drag them to your trash can on your desktop, and then you may empty your trash. Well, you may or may not know that when you do that, that job is still sitting inside the hard drive. Overwrite actually goes a step further. Overwrite will not just delete the table or the index of jobs sitting inside the hard drive of an MFP or computer, but it will also go down to the sector level of the magnetic media and overwrite the data. When that happens, it's basically impossible to get at that data once the hard drive is taken out of the MFP or computer and put into a host PC, just like in that CBS story which we alluded to earlier. The overwrite could be as many as 3 times, and also jobs are automatically overwritten when a job is printed out or when a job is deleted from a user box. As we just mentioned, an MFP administrator can set timers for automatic document deletion. The device can be configured to automatically delete secure documents based on a specified time. On Konica Minolta MFPs in as little as 5 minutes. As an extra added benefit, studies show by enabling secure print and setting a timer, print reduction can be reduced by as much as 20%. Here you have on screen some examples of a remote control panel from PageScope Web Connection, where an administrator can set the timing of automatic document deletion from the MFP's hard drive. Next, we talk about hard drive encryption. Electronic documents can be stored in a password-protected box on the hard drive. If an organization is concerned about the security of such data, it can be protected by encrypting it with a hard drive encryption function. As I mentioned earlier, Konica Minolta builds hard drive encryption as a standard function inside of our bizhub MFPs, so you don't have to worry about purchasing an optional encryption kit with Konica Minolta equipment. The stored data is encrypted using the Advanced Encryption Standard, otherwise known as AES, supporting at least 128-bit but up to 256-bit key length. Once the hard drive is encrypted, its data cannot be read even if the hard drive is removed from the MFP and put inside a PC. Additional unique Konica Minolta hard drive security. As we just mentioned, Konica Minolta provides a security function for hard drives called HDD lock password. It's not easy to remove the hard drive from an MFP. However, as an extra precaution, the bizhub hard disk can be locked with a password of up to 20 alphanumeric characters. The lock password makes it impossible to read or access the hard drive's data if the drive is removed from the device and connected to a computer or a different MFP. The hard drive is locked down and cannot be enabled without the 20-character alphanumeric passcode. Last but not least, prior to disposal or relocation of a machine, we have what's called hard drive overwrite or sanitization. An administrator can overwrite the entire hard disk so that all of its data is completely scrubbed. This could be email addresses, fax numbers, and of course, any leftover document image data. Some customers insist on hard drive removal and exchange. Of course, this service is available if required. As we talk about MFPs, what about firms or organizations that allow users to bring their own devices, also known as BYOD? Mobile print is one of the biggest challenges in an organization today. It's inherent and crucial that an organization create a strategy for incorporating mobile printing in the enterprise. Secure print is a must. Pull printing enables cost savings and additional security. BYOD print strategy is a major concern for these organizations. Konica Minolta has a multitude of options for secure mobile print. As we move away from hard drives, what are additional ways to safeguard the MFP? Well, of course, be sure to change the MFP's administrator password. This is crucial. You'd be surprised at how many organizations today fail to do so. Consider enabling network user authentication. This is important. Network user authentication is especially important for scan-to-email. It provides an audit trail of that scan-to-email process and prevents spoofing so that an anonymous user cannot walk up to an MFP and send an email to an executive inside the organization without knowing who that person is. Education is key here. Make sure the organization teaches users to log out immediately after each session and to teach users to encrypt documents that are going to be scanned or emailed. Most MFPs have this type of protection available. For some that do not, consult your service provider to see if a kit is available or that it's enabled inside the MFP. Also, what's very important is safeguarding the MFP from the network. Even though we mentioned here that the MFP is inside the firewall, there are numerous precautions that can be made to make the machine extra secure, even inside the perimeter of your network. We highly recommend disabling unwanted or insecure ports or protocols, like FTP, IPX, Bonjour. Make sure to enable SSL or TLS for secure encryption for when the MFP or the session is going outside the firewall to an external website. Consider setting up IP address filtering. Also consider IPsec and IEEE 802.1x. Those types of settings are configured and enabled by your network administrator. Make secure print a habit. This is especially important when it comes to things like FERPA and HIPAA, as we mentioned earlier. Documents that contain protected information or protected health information are not to be sitting on the output tray of any device, whether it be a printer, an MFP, or even a fax machine. As you make secure print a habit, Documents are held in secure password-protected mailbox until released from the MFP's control panel. Print jobs that are held inside the device are encrypted. You can set that after the secure printer is released, it is overwritten up to 3 times. A timer can be set to automatically delete the job after the specified period of time, just when the user might forget to release the print job from the secure print mailbox. Fax-based security is still prominent today in private and public organizations within the United States. It's important to note that bizhub MFPs can route incoming faxes securely to any destination that's programmed in the MFP's address book. You can automatically take an incoming fax, which is an analog G3 fax reception, and route it securely through an email address, a server, to a shared folder, or to a hard drive user box inside the MFP. You can store those incoming faxes to the memory reception user box. Those jobs that are stored can be previewed as a thumbnail using various methods that are provided by Konica Minolta. The administrator can pick and choose which faxes to print and which faxes not to print, which will reduce their printing costs. A substantial and usually overlooked security problem exists for many organizations dealing with sensitive data such as patient records, social security numbers, financial and insurance records, and other such data. This problem is that MFPs allow ill-intentioned employees and others to violate a company's security policies. This means that confidential records can be copied, printed, scanned, faxed, and emailed to unauthorized persons right from the MFP. If you're dealing with such sensitive data, then you need to protect your organization. Additionally, there are many national and industry privacy regulations that require compliance with these data security regulations. The solution to this security problem is Doc Audit. Doc Audit keeps a searchable record of all MFP activities so you know who, what, and when a data security breach occurred. Doc Audit stores and manages all images and data made by KMBS A3 size MFPs. This is possible because KMBS InfoPalette MFPs can provide an audit record of such activity. Doc Audit takes this audit record and does the following. It performs OCR, optical character recognition, on the document that was scanned, providing a full text searchable record. And it logs the date, time, MFP, user, and other data associated with that MFP activity. Doc Audit stores all of this information in an easily searchable record. Additionally, a Doc Audit administrator can provide a list of keywords that he or she wants to be alerted to, and then Doc Audit will send an automated email of such a security breach to that administrator. Konica Minolta is unique in providing such a secure method of protecting your documents at such a low price. Doc Audit is affordable and easy to install and set up.